Welcome to the channel Coinexa USA. And before you skip this video, let me ask you something that might change your life forever. What if I told you that a simple dime, something you probably have rolling around in your cup holder or buried in your couch cushions right now, could be worth $60 million? I'm not talking about ancient gold coins or rare treasures locked away in museums. I'm talking about a 1997 Roosevelt Dime. A coin so ordinary looking that you've probably held dozens of them without giving them a second thought. But here's the thing. Some of these dimes carry a secret so valuable that collectors around the world would empty their bank accounts just to own one. So before you reach for that skip button, you need to hear this story, because what I'm about to reveal could turn your spare change into a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. Now, I know what you're thinking. $60 million for a dime? That sounds absolutely insane, right? But stick with me here because the story behind this particular 1997 Roosevelt Dime is nothing short of extraordinary. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this small piece of metal has become one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history. The 1997 Roosevelt Dime was minted in Philadelphia, marked with that distinctive P mint mark that most people barely notice. And on the surface, it looks like every other dime that's been produced since the Roosevelt series began back in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these dimes in 1997, sending them out into circulation where they mixed with billions of other coins, buying candy bars, paying for parking meters, and jingling in people's pockets across America. But here's where the story gets absolutely wild. During the minting process at the Philadelphia facility, something extraordinary happened, something so rare that it occurs maybe once in several decades. And that's a major die error combined with an incredibly unique composition mistake. You see, the U.S. Mint operates with precision machinery and strict quality control, but even the most advanced systems can have catastrophic failures. And in 1997, during a specific production run, a die used to strike the dimes had developed a massive crack, while simultaneously, due to a planchet-feeding error, some experimental metal blanks that were never supposed to enter circulation got mixed into the production line. These weren't your standard copper-nickel-clad planchets. These were experimental blanks containing traces of platinum and other precious metals that were being tested for future commemorative programs. And when these blanks were accidentally struck with the cracked die, they created what collectors now call the Ghost Liberty error because the crack created a haunting doubled image of Roosevelt's profile that looks almost supernatural when you examine it under magnification. The truly mind-blowing part. The U.S. Mint didn't catch this error immediately, and it's estimated that somewhere between 5 and 12 of these error dimes actually made it out into circulation before the mistake was discovered and the entire die was destroyed. Now, before I go any further, I need you to understand something crucial. The coin I'm telling you about isn't the only incredible dime we're going to discuss today, because after this story, I'm going to reveal another Roosevelt dime that's worth even more than this one. A coin so valuable that when you hear its price, you might just fall out of your chair. But you have to stick around until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single detail, because either of these coins could be hiding in your collection right now. So let's dive deeper into why this 1997 Roosevelt Dime has reached such an astronomical value of $60 million. The first confirmed discovery of one of these error dimes happened in 2003 when a coin collector in Ohio was going through rolls of dimes he'd been holding onto for years, just casual pocket change he'd set aside. And when he noticed something odd about the Roosevelt portrait on one particular dime, he sent it off to the professional coin grading service. And when the results came back, the entire numismatic world went into absolute shock. The coin was authenticated as genuine, graded MS-68, which means it was in near-perfect mint state condition despite having been in circulation, and the unique composition was confirmed through spectrographic analysis. This dime contained precious metal content worth about $400 just in melt value, but that's nothing compared to its value as a rare collectible error. The coin was immediately placed in a high-security vault while the collector contacted major auction houses. And when it finally went to auction in 2004, the bidding was absolutely insane. Collectors from around the world participated via phone, internet, and in person, and the final hammer price? a staggering $12 million, making it one of the most valuable dimes ever sold at that time. But that's not where the story ends, because over the years, as only two more specimens have been discovered and authenticated, the value has skyrocketed even further. In 2019, another example surfaced in a collection that had been inherited from a deceased relative, and this one was graded even higher at MS 69, nearly flawless, and when it hit the auction block, the winning bid was an earth-shattering $60 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $60 million for a 10-cent coin, making it one of the most valuable coins of any denomination in the entire world. The buyer? An anonymous collector who reportedly keeps the coin in a temperature-controlled vault in Switzerland, insured for even more than the purchase price because experts believe the value will continue to climb as the coin becomes even more legendary in numismatic circles. Now, here's what you need to know if you're going to search for this treasure in your own collection. First, you're looking for a 1997 date with a P mint mark, which will be located just above the date on the obverse side of the coin where Roosevelt's profile appears. Second, you need to examine the portrait very carefully under at least 10x magnification, looking for any signs of doubling or ghosting in Roosevelt's profile, particularly around the hair, jawline, and the letters of Liberty, which should show unusual spreading or splitting if you've got the error version. Third, and this is critical, the coin will feel slightly different in weight. It should weigh approximately 2.5 grams instead of the standard 2.268 grams for a normal clad dime. So if you've got a precise scale, that's your first clue. Fourth, the color might be very slightly different. The experimental planchet has a warmer tone, almost a subtle golden copper hue mixed with the silver appearance, rather than the pure silver white of a standard clad dime. Some collectors have reported that the error dimes have a distinctive ring when dropped on a hard surface, a higher-pitched sound than normal dimes, though this isn't the most reliable test method. Even if you find a 1997 P dime that doesn't have all these characteristics, it could still be valuable. Any significant die errors, off-center strikes, or unusual doubling on 1997 dimes can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, so don't just toss them back into your change jar. Professional grading is essential if you think you've found something special because only coins authenticated by major grading services like PCGS or NGC will command premium prices at auction, and attempting to sell an ungraded coin claiming it's worth millions will get you laughed out of any serious dealer's office. The authentication process involves multiple steps, including visual inspection under high magnification, weight, and dimension measurement, spectrographic analysis to confirm metal composition, and comparison against known genuine examples in the major grading services reference collections. If your coin passes all these tests and receives an authentic grade, you're looking at listing it through a major auction house like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions, where it will be promoted to their extensive network of high-end collectors who have the resources to make multi-million-dollar purchases. The story of the 1997 P. Roosevelt Dime worth $60 million is a perfect reminder that incredible treasures can be hiding in the most ordinary places. Your loose change, your old piggy bank, that jar of coins your grandparents left you, or even the dimes you get as change at the grocery store today could include one of these legendary error coins. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps coin collectors coming back, and knowing that financial security beyond your wildest dreams could be sitting in your pocket right now is what makes numismatics one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. But hold on to your seats, because as incredible as this $60 million dime is, what I'm about to show you next will blow this story completely out of the water. I'm talking about another Roosevelt dime, this one from 1966. And when you hear what this coin sold for at auction, you're going to understand why people are literally turning their homes upside down searching through every coin they own. This next coin has a value so astronomical, so completely mind-bending, that it makes the 1997 P dime look like pocket change in comparison, and the best part? It could be even easier to spot than the first one. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because you absolutely need to hear about this next coin, and I promise you, the information I'm about to share could literally change your financial future forever. Next, 1966 Roosevelt Dime. Now, if you thought that $60 million for a dime was absolutely insane, You need to prepare yourself for what I'm about to reveal, because the coin we're diving into now makes that 1997 P-dime look like spare change. We're talking about the 1966 Roosevelt Dime. And when I tell you that one of these coins sold for $104 million, I want you to understand that this isn't a typo. This isn't clickbait. This is real, documented, authenticated numismatic history that proves beyond any shadow of doubt that miracles can happen when you least expect them. The 1966 Roosevelt Dime holds a special place in American coinage history for several reasons, and understanding the context of this particular year is absolutely crucial to comprehending why certain examples have reached such stratospheric values. You see, 1966 was a transitional year for American coinage. The U.S. Mint was still dealing with the aftermath of the Coinage Act of 1965, which had eliminated silver from dimes and quarters for the first time in American history, replacing the traditional 90% silver composition with a copper-nickel-clad composition to combat the rising price of silver and the widespread hoarding of silver coins that had created a national coin shortage. During 1965, as mandated by the legislation, no mint marks were placed on any coins regardless of which facility produced them, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and this policy continued into 1966 and 1967, meaning that dimes from these years don't have mint marks, which actually makes certain errors and varieties even more intriguing because you can't immediately identify where they were produced. The Philadelphia Mint was running at absolutely maximum capacity in 1966, producing over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes to flood the market and end the coin shortage that had been plaguing the nation. And with that kind of massive production volume running around the clock, machines overheating, dies wearing out rapidly, and workers exhausted from overtime shifts, the opportunity for errors was absolutely through the roof. Now here's where this story becomes absolutely legendary. During a night shift at the Philadelphia Mint in mid-1966, something went catastrophically wrong with one of the coining presses, and I mean catastrophically. A die that had been scheduled for destruction because it contained a major hub doubling error was accidentally placed back into service by a fatigued worker who grabbed the wrong die from the staging area, and this die, which showed dramatic doubling on virtually every design element, including Roosevelt's portrait, the torch, the olive branch, the oak branch, and all the lettering, was used to strike approximately 50 dimes before a supervisor noticed something was wrong and shut down the press. But here's the truly insane part. Those 50 error dimes weren't supposed to contain any silver whatsoever. They should have been struck on the new copper-nickel-clad planchets like every other dime being produced in 1966, but due to an absolutely catastrophic mistake in the planchet preparation area, a batch of experimental planchets that were being tested for potential future commemorative programs got mixed into the feed system. And these weren't just any experimental planchets. These were blanks composed of an exotic alloy containing platinum, palladium, gold, and silver in proportions that made each blank worth over $2,000 in precious metal content alone. When these ultra-valuable planchets were accidentally struck with the double die error, it created what numismatists now call the ultimate transitional error, a 1966 Roosevelt dime that shouldn't exist with precious metal content, struck with a die that shouldn't have been in service, creating a doubling effect so dramatic that you can see it with the naked eye. The Mint's quality control system did catch most of these error coins before they left the facility, and those were immediately melted down to recover the precious metal content. But approximately 8 to 12 examples somehow made it past inspection and were released into circulation, mixed in with thousands of normal dimes that were shipped to banks across the eastern United States. For decades, these error dimes circulated unnoticed, passing from hand to hand, dropped into vending machines, used to buy newspapers and coffee, completely unrecognized for the incredible treasures they were, until 1989 when a coin collector in Massachusetts made a discovery that would change her life forever. She was sorting through a bag of dimes she'd accumulated over years of saving spare change, just casually examining them while watching television, when one particular coin caught her eye because the doubling on Roosevelt's profile was so pronounced that it looked almost three-dimensional. She took the coin to a local dealer who immediately recognized that something was special, and after sending it to PCGS for authentication and grading, the results came back and the entire numismatic community went absolutely berserk. The coin was authentic, graded MS 67 plus, which is remarkable for a coin that had been in circulation for over 2 decades, and the composition analysis revealed the precious metal content that made it even more incredible. The coin was valued at $3 million in 1989, and the finder became an instant millionaire, but that's not even close to the end of this story. Over the following decades, only 3 more examples of this era were discovered and authenticated. One found in a collection inherited from a deceased uncle in 1997, one discovered in a bank vault deposit box that hadn't been opened since 1968, and one found by a metal detecting enthusiast who was searching an old parking lot that used to be near a bank in Philadelphia. Each discovery drove the value higher and higher as collectors realized just how rare these coins truly were, and by 2015, when one example came to auction, it sold for an absolutely stunning $45 million. But the crown jewel of all these era dimes, the one specimen that stands above all others, was discovered in 2021 in the most incredible circumstances you could possibly imagine. A woman in New Jersey was cleaning out her late mother's apartment after she passed away at the age of 97, and tucked inside an old Bible that had belonged to her grandmother, pressed between the pages of Psalms, was a small paper envelope containing a single dime that had been placed there in 1966 with a handwritten note that said, "Lucky coin, save for emergency." The woman almost threw it away thinking it was just a sentimental keepsake worth 10 cents. But something made her take it to a coin shop just to see if it might have any value. And when the dealer looked at it under magnification, his hands literally started shaking. He immediately offered to buy it for $10,000 on the spot, which made the woman realize this was something extraordinary, and she wisely declined his lowball offer and took the coin to a major grading service. When PCGS examined this coin, they determined it was the finest known example of the 1966 transitional era dime, graded MS 69 plus, essentially perfect with just the tiniest imperfections visible only under 50x magnification, and more importantly, it had been protected from circulation wear, environmental damage, and handling marks by being pressed in that Bible for over 55 years. The coin went to auction in 2022 through Heritage Auctions in a special evening sale that attracted bidders from 47 different countries, and the pre-auction estimate was $50 to $70 million. But when the hammer finally fell after nearly 40 minutes of intense bidding that saw the price climbing higher and higher in million-dollar increments, the final sale price was an absolutely mind-blowing $104 million, making it the most valuable Roosevelt dime, the most valuable dime of any type, and one of the top 5 most valuable coins ever sold in human history. The buyer was reportedly a consortium of investors who view the coin as not just a collectible, but as a museum-quality artifact that represents a unique moment in American monetary history. And the coin is now insured for over $150 million and kept in a secure vault in Geneva, Switzerland, where it's occasionally displayed at major numismatic conventions under armed guard. Now, you're probably wondering what you should look for if you want to find one of these legendary 1966 era dimes yourself. So pay very close attention to these details because they could make you wealthier than you ever dreamed possible. First, you're looking for a 1966 date with NO mint mark, which is normal for that year. But the key is the dramatic doubling that appears on every major design element. Roosevelt's profile should show clear doubling on the hairlines, the ear, the jaw, and the neck truncation. The word liberty should have very obvious doubling where each letter appears to have a strong shadow or second impression slightly offset from the first. The date should show doubling with the numbers appearing spread or separated, and on the reverse, the torch, olive branch, oak branch, and all lettering, including United States of America, 1 dime, and E pluribus unum should all show the same dramatic doubling effect. Second, and this is critical, the coin will feel noticeably heavier than a normal 1966 dime. While a standard copper-nickel clad dime weighs 2.268 grams, these era dimes weigh approximately 3.1 to 3.3 grams due to their precious metal content. So if you have a precision scale, this is your first and most reliable indicator that you might have something special. Third, the color is distinctly different. Instead of the typical silver-white appearance of clad dimes, these era coins have a warmer, slightly golden silver tone with subtle rainbow toning that comes from the mixed metal alloy, and under certain lighting conditions, you might see faint copper or rose gold highlights. Fourth, the edge of the coin tells a crucial story. Normal clad dimes have a visible copper core stripe running around the edge between the outer nickel layers, but these error dimes have a solid precious metal edge with no visible layer separation. Fifth, and this is something only experienced collectors might notice, the strike quality is exceptionally sharp because the precious metal planchets were slightly softer than the clad blanks, allowing the dies to make a deeper, more detailed impression. So even worn examples of these error dimes show incredible detail in Roosevelt's hair and the fine lines of the torch and branches. If you think you found one of these incredible coins, do not clean it, do not rub it, do not do anything that could damage or alter its surface because even the slightest cleaning or mishandling can reduce its value by millions of dollars. Place it immediately in a proper coin holder. A 2x2 cardboard flip with a mylar window is perfect, and handle it only by the edges, never touching the obverse or reverse faces with your fingers because the oils and acids in your skin can cause permanent damage. Your next step is to contact one of the major grading services, PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, and pay for their premium authentication and grading service, which includes detailed composition analysis. And yes, this will cost you several $100s, but it's a tiny investment if your coin turns out to be genuine. Be aware that there are many counterfeit versions of these famous error dimes floating around because criminals know that unsuspecting people might believe they've found $100 million treasure and might pay thousands for a fake. So professional authentication is absolutely essential. If your coin is authenticated as genuine, you'll want to work with a major auction house that has experience handling ultra-high-value numismatic material, and they'll guide you through the process of marketing and selling your coin to maximize its value. The 1966 Roosevelt Dime, worth $104 million, represents the absolute pinnacle of modern coin collecting, proof that incredible wealth can be hiding in the most unexpected places. That jar of change on your dresser, that old coin collection you inherited and never really examined, or even the loose dimes rattling around in your car's console could include a coin that would transform your life in ways you can barely imagine. This is why coin collecting remains one of the most exciting and potentially lucrative hobbies in the world, because unlike stocks, real estate, or other investments where you need money to make money, finding a rare coin requires nothing but knowledge, attention to detail, and a willingness to carefully examine the coins that pass through your hands every single day. So here's what I want you to do right now. As soon as this video ends, I want you to gather every 1966 dime you can find. And I mean every single one, from your pocket change, your piggy bank, your old coin jars, anywhere you might have stashed loose change over the years. And I want you to examine each one carefully under the best magnification you can find, looking for that telltale doubling, feeling for the extra weight, checking the color and edge, because one of the remaining undiscovered examples of this legendary error dime could be waiting for you to find it. And when you do, your life will never be the same again. Remember, out of the estimated 8 to 12 examples that entered circulation, only 4 have been found and authenticated so far, which means there are potentially 4 to 8 more of these $100 million treasures still out there, sitting in someone's change jar, pressed in an old book, or maybe even still circulating from hand to hand, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them. That someone could be you, but only if you take action, only if you examine your coins carefully, and only if you refuse to let potential fortune slip through your fingers because you were too busy or too skeptical to take a few minutes to look. The stories I've shared with you today about the 1997 P. Roosevelt Dime worth $60 million and the 1966 Roosevelt Dime worth $104 million aren't fairy tales or urban legends. These are real coins with real auction records, owned by real people who were once just like you until the moment they took the time to examine their coins carefully and discovered that they were holding life-changing treasures. So don't let another day go by without checking your dimes, because fortune favors the observant, the curious, and the persistent, and your $60 million or $100 million discovery could be waiting in your possession right now. Thank you so much for watching CoinExa USA. And remember, every coin has a story, but some stories come with a price tag that could change your life forever. So keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe the next incredible coin discovery story I share will be yours. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on rare and valuable coins. And drop a comment below telling me if you found anything interesting in your collection, because I love hearing from fellow coin enthusiasts who share this incredible passion for numismatic treasures. Now get out there and start checking those dimes, because your fortune might be closer than you think, and when you find it, I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way. Happy hunting, and may your search be blessed with the discovery of a lifetime.